Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Boffer Basics, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make a Solomon Braid belt. The Solomon Braid is actually a series of square knots, so it's actually a type of macrame, but it's very simple to do and pretty cheap to make. You'll need a few rolls of macrame cord, or you can use paracord, or really any type of rope, and how much you're going to need for length is going to depend on how long you're trying to make it and the diameter of your cord. If you have a thinner cord, knots will be smaller. You won't need quite as much as if you're using a 1/4 inch rope. You'll need a solid ring to form your belt on, and a few hours. Alright guys, so you'll need a few lengths of cord, whatever type you're using. In this case I've got 2 white pieces, just some scrap that I've got, and a blue center piece. If you want a contrasting color like this, you can do 2 of the same color and then 1 alternating color or contrasting color as your center, and you'll make a really nice pattern. Now this is again going to be a series of square knots, so for your outside pieces, your arms, or one of the arms of it, is going to need to be the exact length that you want your belt to be. So you'll want to do the length of your belt and then add probably about 1 foot, because you're going to be tying it like a leather ring belt, and then you'll have some tassels on the end when you finish it off, and you'll need enough cord to finish off the knots. So add about 1 foot to the length you think you'll need. Your other arm will need to be a magnitude longer than the arm than the total length of your belt, because again, it's a series of square knots, so our working end is going to get eaten up as it's knotted, or essentially woven into the knots. So, to get started, measure out and cut your lengths of cord, and we're going to take our 3 pieces, bend them in half, and we're going to hitch them onto the ring we're using with chicken head knots. So you just take your ring with the loop, put it through the ring, and pull it back through the loop that you've made, and that is a chicken head, or a hitch. I don't know why it's called that. It's kind of strange. But you want to make sure that whatever end you're working on has that head, the knuckle, on the top, and you want all of your pieces to be going the same way. So I want all of my heads to come out on top. So I've got our chicken heads made, and I've got my opposite or opposing color in the middle here, and we're ready to start our knotting process. So we're going to have 2 solid strands that are going to be the length of our belt, that's these guys here, and then the other 4 pieces are going to be working strands. You're going to start with your middle, it doesn't matter which strand you start with, and make a series of square knots. To make a square knot, you're going to make, using your center strand as like a post, you're going to make a D with your working strand, that's this one here this time, and then the opposite working strand will go over top of that, and then come up and through the loop that you made with your initial one, and then you'll pull that tight. Now you can pull too tight. You don't want to crank it down super hard. As you can kind of see on this black one here, I did that right here, and it's going to make your knots uneven, it's going to make it very scrunched, and it's going to make it so it's not flexible in that area, and it'll make it want to twist and do weird things. So don't pull crazy tight, just nice and snug, and you don't want it to be super loose either, otherwise it's not going to hold form. So that is our first square knot. If you ever get lost on where you are when you're doing square knots, you always start with the end that is on the same side as the knuckle. So you can see where that crosses over there, so we know that our left end is going to be our next working end. So we're going to make a D, come over, under, and through, and pull it nice and snug. So then we've done 2 square knots on that side. We're going to do the same on the next side. Our middle working strand, our blue one here, is going to go over the center. This outside white piece is going to go over that, up through, and we're going to pull that tight. And then our blue strand is going to be worked with next. We don't use the same strand twice in a row. It's another easy way to remember. And we'll pull that snug. Now you can see that the 2 blue working strands kind of create an X here in the middle, and that's perfect. So we're going to take this from the right side as it is crossed over, and we're going to use it to start working on our next strand. You always want to start because consistency is very important to make your belt look good. You always want to start with the strand that ends up on top, because then on the next time it'll end up on the bottom and your other strand will end up on top, and you'll alternate as you go and it'll make a nice pattern. So make our D, come up and through and pull tight, make a D, up and through, pull tight, and then we'll move on to our other strand and make a couple of square knots there. And once you get good at this, you can really get into a good rhythm. Another important thing is to make sure that you've got your workpiece stationary. In this case, I've got a couple of nails driven through here. But if this is flopping all about, it's really hard to use. And you can even take your ends that are being braided on or knotted on and pin those down loosely so that they're not wanting to pull forward when you tie your knots. So this one came down first, it was on top, and then this came down over top of that. So now this one is wait, that was on top. Shoot. There. Alright, we got that right. So now we're going to start over here. So you'll be alternating which side you start on. I started on my left side last time, and so now I'm starting on my right, and so on and so forth. So we'll fast forward a little bit and show you what the mostly finished product looks like. Okay, so we finished up knotting what we can with the length of cord that I've got here, and as you can see, our pattern has started to develop quite nicely. The alternating color zigzags through the knots of our two main colors, and because we've been consistent in the way we cross over, our blue in the middle here in between the knots is consistent. So it makes it look good. Now to finish everything off, you can just, if you have enough extra length there, these obviously turned out a little short, you can just put an overhand knot in it, or you can get decorative, you can add beads to it as you go or at the end, but I like to finish off with a fisherman's knot just because it's just kind of nice looking. So I'll be using my middle colors here, so I'll pull those out and pull everything down straight. Then you'll take your middle, or the ones you're wrapping with, and to do a fisherman's, you're going to wrap around, and then you're going to come up above the initial knot that you made, and then you're going to come down through the loops that you've made there. So pull those through there and through the first loop. If these were a little longer, it'd be easier. I guess I should have used something better for a demonstration. But then you'll dress your knot, just pull it up to your braid and get it all to lay flat, and then pull everything nice and snug. So your fisherman's makes a nice smooth barrel, and if you have more material you can add more loops to it and actually make it several inches long, and that would look pretty nice. Quit being such a goober. And then you want to take, and you can leave them staggered if you want, or cut everything up nice and flush and have a nice little bit of tassel there at the end. So let me pull these up and give you a closer look. So there is our Solomon braid, and with a fisherman's knot to finish. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below, and if you liked this video, please be sure to like and subscribe and share. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.